Finally, ladies and gentlemen, we have some good news at the Collingwood Football Club. We've been starved of it in the last 6 weeks or so. It's time to talk all things black and white. Earlier this morning, ladies and gents, we get the news. DC signed on till the end of 2029. Scott Pendlebury extends for another year, as earlier reported last week. So, a sigh of relief for the Pies this week. That's what it is. And is it something that we can lean on and use as extra motivation? DC devoting himself to the club. Pendlebury putting his body on the line for another year. The guy's 37. There's absolutely no reason why this guy should be playing at the highest level of footy at his age. Putting his body on the line week in, week out. Showing up. And not just making up the numbers, by the way. He was probably one of our best players against Hawthorn, where it was incredibly difficult to pluck players out and say, yeah, he had a good game. He was honourable. Pendlebury was good. DC is one of those players, just doesn't lower his colours. We talk about players when the system isn't working. There's players who they hold a baseline standard in every game. Whether we're getting pumped or not, these players will always stand up. Pendlebury and DC are two of those players. It's good to finally see that we could satisfy DC's management group and we gave him the money he's worth. One of the anxieties behind signing DC at Collingwood was the whole Brodie Grundy thing in the back of our mind, thinking, if we give him a big bag and a big contract, what's that going to do for us? So we've signed him for at the end of 2020. It's a 4-year deal. I think Brodie Grundy was signed for a little bit longer than that on bigger money. So look, at the end of the day, the biggest difference between DC and Brodie Grundy is DC, his intercept marking is just paramount to what we're trying to accomplish as a team and really works into the system that we've created at the club, keeping the team, our opposition, in our forward half. DC is one of those big reasons because he's able to just pluck intercept marks as they kick it out. So that's what he does best. Let's have a look at this article. I've got it here, so quick little squeeze through it. Darcy Cameron has signed a new contract. 30-year-old has recommitted to the club until the end of 2029, having already been contracted for next year. So what is that? That is essentially it's a 3-year extension on what was already handed out. He could have left for big money at West Coast. Being from Western Australia, it's huge news. Is there anything else that was really worth noting? I mean, it's also nice, like no club or owes a player anything, and no player owes a club anything. At the end of the day, you got to do what's best for yourself and your family. But the fact that we had given DC this opportunity to come to the Collingwood Football Club and have an imprint in the game, he'd only played one game at Sydney. Was he really going anywhere there? We don't know. So we gave him that opportunity. Is there some sort of factor in that where you've done so much for a player to help them become the player they are? Do they acknowledge that in the negotiations? I'm not quite sure, but now that he is signed, you'd have to think, all right, well, maybe he did consider that a little bit. But the reason for me seemed obvious as to why he should stay at Collingwood and not go to Western Australia, particularly West Coast. We are still in this period where we can be competitive for years to come. This season's not over and done with. Do you not want to be a part of a potential dynasty side? Look at the culture that's built around the club. So I think that would have had to have helped getting the deal over the line, as opposed to going to West Coast in the twilight of your career. And I say twilight, but he's still also in his prime. But do you want to be in your prime and not be playing for a competitive side? Like, do you want to go home that bad? Is that how much you want to go home? So that's my question. I think the question has been answered. The other one is Pendlebury. Looking to break Brent Harvey's record. He's at 421. He needs to break 432. And what? So we got 2 games left here, plus finals. He'll probably break it in the first half of next year. So crucial signings. And you know what? I'm really hoping this news for both players is a form of motivation that Collingwood can take going into the game against Adelaide. I think when news hasn't been good surrounding Collingwood lately, when you are out of form, you've had back-to-back extremely disappointing games, maybe this is the piece where you go, yep, cool, Pendles committing. Furthermore, DC refuses to go home and he's staying at the club. Use that as motivation. Show them that you care. So, and here we stand. 6 days away from our biggest game of the season. And what great news. It's the news we needed. A 9-day break. There's a bit of a lull in content as far as, you know, the natural cycle in your week-to-week base on the week-to-week basis of footy. It's not we go from a 5-day break, quick turnaround, 9 days. Okay, now we've got to endure watching the rest of the round pan out. And although it sort of worked out for the Pies with Brisbane dropping points, Adelaide not looking overly convincing against West Coast. I think this is just the gap was fulfilled by this news today on a Monday, so we can carry that weight into the following days, into the following game, into the following games, into the final series is what I'm hoping. So, are you guys happy with this? Were you one who were super keen on DC and Pendles remaining at the helm? Let me know in the comment section. And as always, go Pies.